Hi everybody. A couple of days ago we were able to go look at a pair of Colts. As most of you know, my horse is actually getting kind of old. So, not really that old, but a couple of them are getting old. And so at some point I do need to think about some replacements. I have tried to get Lady bred before with no luck, and I'm still haven't given up on that idea. But even if I get her bred, she's not allowed to, she wouldn't be able to work quite so much if she had a foal beside her. So I've been hesitant to not get her bred because of that reason. So I've always kind of been keeping my eye out for a pair of Colts, and I found a couple possibilities the other day, and in a little bit on this video we'll go and look at them. But before we go, I wanted to just tell you some things that if you were to go look at some Colts to buy, some things that you should consider thinking about and asking the owner about these Colts. So I actually wrote down a list of things right here, and I actually have 7 different things that I want to be thinking about and asking about when I go to look at these Colts. So I will start with the first 3, and they are what kind of breed of horses do you want? Are you looking for Belgians? Are you looking for Percherons? Are you looking for Suffolks? What type of breed are you looking for? And then what size horses do you want? Do you want ton horses? Do you want 1,500-pound horses? All those things have to be kind of established in your mind as to what you want. A lot of times you can go with not being completely sure, but you still have to have somewhat of an idea what you're looking for. And what color horse do you want? Do you want a black horse? Do you want a brown horse? Do you want a white horse? And all those things you have to think about even before you go. Those first 3 questions can actually be answered completely on the telephone. You don't have to go look at horses if you know they're not something you want. I had called an Amish guy the other day, and he had a pair of horses for sale. And so after I talked for a little while, he said they were 18 hands high. And I said, well, I don't even want to go look at them. They're way too high. I don't want tall horses like that. I've got to harness them every day. I'm not interested. So I didn't even look at those. So anyways, that is number 3. Number 4, what have you done with these? So if they're a pair of Colts, we're going to go look at. And so when you're looking at, and it doesn't matter, most of these questions are the same whether you're looking at a big horse or a young colt. So my question is, what have you done with these Colts? Have you got them halter broke yet? Have they been tied? Have the feet been fooled with? These are Colts that we're looking at are just weanlings, so they're 6 or 8 months old. 6 or 8 months old. So those are the questions I want to ask when I go and see these horses. Number 5. What have you been feeding these Colts? Are they getting hay and grain? Are they just getting straight hay? What's the mother getting fed? What is the total feeding program of all your horses? If you take a young colt, if they're just fed hay throughout their life, they just will not get the growth that a colt that has been given grain will get. They will always become a bigger horse. And if you don't want a big horse, I guess it's perfectly fine to feed that hay all their lives. But if you want to have some growth in your horses, you definitely, the ones that get fed grain will do better. So, or get bigger, larger. So that was number 5. Number 6 is the conformation of these horses. Now, I know when a lot of people go to look at horses, they have this long list of what they want in conformation. That's all well and good. I am not quite such a particular conformation type of guy. In other words, I don't have the knowledge, the book knowledge to go down through and say, okay, this has to be such and such. I can generally just look at a horse, like most of us can, and say, is there anything that jumps right out at you that is wrong with this horse? I remember when I got Lady, I looked at her, and I'm telling you, I didn't think she would ever make a pulling horse. I didn't think the way her hind legs were positioned, she just didn't look like a horse that would have good legs. And genetically, I didn't even think she would be a good horse to breed. But she has proved that so wrong. She has been one of the best pulling horses I've had. She is just incredible. She has had no leg problems at all. They still may not be genetically perfect legs, but there's been no issue at all. So that was a big surprise. So a lot of times, even if you look for conformation, just a perfect conformation horse, they will surprise you. Some that don't look quite so good turn into super, and some that look great still have plenty of issues. I remember buying a horse years ago. It was not a colt, it was an older horse. Not that old, but I was just so thrilled with this horse. I mean, this horse really looked good. Saw nothing wrong with this horse at all. 2 weeks after I got him, he foundered on me and we lost the horse. Yeah, it was one of those things you could never see the day we went and bought the horse. But still, what I'm trying to say is a lot of times you can have everything perfect and come home and still not have that perfect horse. So that is the way it goes with that. Another thing with when you're buying colts, a lot of times a colt will grow out of some issues that you might see in him as a weanling. So I guess I just say don't be so stuck on tiny little defects in a young horse, because a lot of times they will grow out of them. Okay, let me see what else I have. That was number 6. Number 7. You don't always get the option of, when you're looking at colts, to be able to see their father or see their mother or see their siblings. But whenever you do, it's very important to really study those other animals, study the siblings, see how they're looking, because they would be at an older age, because if you're looking at weanlings. Also, if the mother is there, which that's more apt to be the case, but not always. A lot of times you'll go to a sale and there's just weanlings there. You don't see their mothers. But if you have the option of seeing the mother, study her, see what she looks like, see what size she is, ask the owner about her. Same with the father. If he happens to be there, really look him over. Now, more likely the father is the father to all of the colts in that group of mares, whereas the mother is just a colt to one. So the father, in a lot of ways, if you're buying 2 of them especially, it's the same father for both of those colts, whereas the mother had different, the colt had different mother, obviously. So, but anyways, really inspect that stud over. Ask a lot of questions. Don't be hesitant to ask the owner. Just tons of questions, because that's what you need to do. So those are some of the questions that I want to think about while I'm talking to this guy, and bring these questions up so I can learn more about these colts before I was to even consider making a decision as to whether to buy them or not. So anyways, let us go on this little journey, and you can come along, and I will try to show a few more things as we go through this video as to what to do what I do when I'm looking at colts or other horses. I'm sure I've missed some things that I should be doing or have done plenty of times, but I just don't think of them right now. But this is a good place to start anyways. So I hope you enjoy this.
Good morning, everybody. We're on a little adventure this morning. It's a Saturday morning. It's very rainy and wet. Some people had wanted to do sleigh rides today, but Jim decided to not even book them because he knew the rain was coming, and it's so much work if it doesn't pan out to do the sleigh ride. So we are headed to look at some horses today. Jim was told by his friend Jason that there are a pair of Suffolk Colts for sale. They're coming a year old, and they are about an hour and 50 minutes from our house, so we're en route to go down to Chad's and see what the horses look like down there. Have anything to add?
Nope, I'm looking forward to looking at them though. We'll let you know as we'll show you when we get there.
Yep. Come on along.
So here we are at Rebber Rock Farm. Chad raises Suffolk horses here. I wasn't exactly looking for Suffolk horses, but they came up for sale, so I decided to check them out, and we'll see what happens.
And the mother of one is a little bit bigger. I would put her at weight about 1,800 pounds, but she is down in Virginia. So, okay.
So how many other horses do you have? How many horses do you have out there?
We've got 10, including all the babies.
So as Chad and I talk as we get towards the horses, I'm going through my head all the things I've got to ask him, and all the things that we talked about earlier in this video I'm going through, and I'm planning on asking him all these things and trying to learn as much as I can about these horses.
This is one of them, and that's his mother right there.
Okay.
This is the mother, and this is, and he was born late in the year. He was born like late July.
Okay. Now on the pictures I see you had halters on him.
Yep.
So you fooled with them some?
Barely.
Hi.
I would no. I wouldn't say. I would say they're completely green.
Okay.
They're personable, but they don't know a thing.
Now, have you tied them up yet?
No, never even been tied. But I wouldn't expect.
Very sweet.
If
Chad is like so many of us, myself included. With life, it gets so busy. Sometimes we just don't have the time to work with our horses as we should. He's been building his house, and he's got a young family, so it's very difficult to get the things done that he would like to do. So, of course, that's one reason why he's selling these horses, too.
So they basically been running loose ever since they're born.
But you know, he's fairly he's not just gonna follow me along, but he's not gonna freak out and fight it either.
So you haven't fooled with their feet then?
No. Good.
Hi there.
And
Oh, cute little
really
kid.
Nice.
What's your
Hi.
feeding program? You just basically had
No one out here is any grain. Unless when I'm working them, I'll feed them a little before I work them.
Right.
And try to, have it be free choice as much as you want all the time type of hay.
Right.
That way they can fill themselves up. Again,
So this is out of the bigger one, or
this is out of the bigger one. He's not.
When were they born?
Huge. He was born. He was born in the spring. He was born in early June.
Hi there. Hi.
But I feel like the other one's sizing up to be at least a taller horse.
Yeah.
I imagine this guy's going to be kind of a stocky, thick little guy, but not terribly strong. I saw his full sister at 3 years old fairly recently, and she is, a 15-3, 16-hand horse, but again, real thick.
Right.
You will notice I don't spend a lot of time petting these horses. I'm more concentrating on my questions I want to be asking Chad and looking them over really close.
So you're working a mare and a stallion together right now?
Yeah,
in the woods?
I am. Yeah.
So where did they stay? At your place?
Yeah, we can walk up and look at them,
Yeah, I'd like to
or
see.
you can.
So that's the father of these?
Yep, that's the father of these guys, and we can go look at him. This is maybe the 4th time in his life he's had a halter on him at all.
And that's the way you normally do it?
And that's just, I would like to be more on top of it. I'm just not at this point.
With my colts, and I haven't raised colts for quite a while, but I used to raise a lot of colts. At this age, I worked with them a lot. And then they went out to pasture for a couple of years.
Yep.
And then I worked them.
Yep.
But I tried to get that initial thing done first.
I would like to be better at it.
It does take a lot of time.
It takes a lot of time. And I don't have great infrastructure yet. Our building a house took priority over having a barn, and so I really don't have much of a place to tie them up. Except for I do, but it's outside, and so a day you'd mess with them. On a crappy day, you don't be outside doing it. Right? So that's I aspire to be a better keeper of.
So his mother
is the one that went down to Virginia And
How old was she?
She was older. That's why I got rid of her.
Whatever. You had a colt to sell there, or your
that
did?
auction colt.
Yes.
Yep. That was that'd be another full brother to these two.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I kind of liked that one because it was trying to dive over the fence there. That one time I was watching.
You like a little bit of.
Yeah.
A little bit of.
I mean, I can see this one's got a little attitude to him. So the mare, has you used her much?
Yeah, she's fully broke. She's good. She's a good mare.
Yeah.
And she does have some. I like a steady, just plod along kind of horse, and she has a little bit more spunk to
Does
her.
she? Yeah.
He was just pawing. You should like that.
He's talking to that. A little bit snotty.
I like that.
I like this guy too. I think he's.
Yeah. Well, let's go look at the stallion.
All right.
He likes you.
Hi.
He was funny. He was shaking his, trying to get that halter off a little while ago. He's still really good about that, though.
Yeah,
Getting that on.
They're, like I say, they're sensible, and they are familiar with me. You know, I try to be around them,
Right,
and stuff. I just don't make the time to bring them in and mess with them and pick up the teeth and the things like that I should be doing at this point.
So he is the father of the pair.
Yep, he's the father of the pair. She's the mother of the 2-year-old.
Right. Now, how long have you had him?
I've had him since he was a weanling, essentially.
Okay.
I got him off of Jason back then.
He's a solid guy.
Yeah, he's a real solid. Here, we can go in and
Could we just hide them over there and then I can go check them out without you close by?
Sure.
But you must get quite often less snow here than elsewhere
Yeah.
because of the lake.
Yeah.
They're all good to go around. And
Yeah.
You run barefoot or do you have shoes on?
No, I run barefoot unless it turns to complete ice, and then I will put shoes on. But if I don't have to, I won't.
I run shoes all the time, but that's just my preference.
Yep, sure.
He is actually probably a little shorter than my shortest one.
Sure. Yeah, no, he's not. He's probably, I would guess he's right in the 15.3 range.
Have you worked a lot of different horses? So you've been pretty well Suffolks all the time?
Well, mostly Suffolks. We had a pair of Percherons once that I was not in love with by any means. I've worked
Bigger ones, probably?
One was kind of a little bit taller than him, maybe just 16 hands, but not nearly. It was kind of slight. And the other was this big old tall skinny thing.
I find those big old tall horses, that's what they are. Skinny.
Yeah.
Hard to keep the weight on.
Yup. Step your butt over, buddy.
Would you say for Suffolks, what would you say the average size for Suffolks are?
I mean, I would say 1650, but 16 hands. 1650.
I mean, he's probably an average size stud.
He's probably an average size guy.
Yeah.
He might be a little shorter than the average.
Okay. And you've had him since the weanling?
Yep.
Yep. Do they like not much in the summertime color-wise?
Not much.
Really?
No,
They
a little bit, but not much. No.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll stay that dark.
Well, Jason did tell me what you wanted for him. I don't know if he told you that you. Maybe I can go talk to my wife a little bit here.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
So Brenda and I decided to go home and sleep on it and give it a little thought, and then we'll make our decisions. So I will let you know and what our decision is in another video.